You are live on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review. I am Nathan, as always, joined by James. What's made you happy in the last week, James?
I found $1 on the ground of the cinema where we went to the movies the other day. So this cost of living crisis with the petrol prices, that's a win for me.
That's about 100 millilitres petrol, mate. Also joined by Callum. What's made you happy in the last week, Callum?
I know this is a cop-out answer, but I've just been really enjoying my downtime after work at home.
That's
so like,
fine,
no, but like, you know, sometimes you'll go through those few phases where you just sit in your chair and that's it, and then the day.
Well,
the
yeah,
day ends.
we've talked about the sads.
Yeah.
Getting home from work and just being like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't even want to watch TV.
I've been enjoying my PlayStation. I've been in the TV I've been watching. I've been enjoying it. So it's like, don't take it for granted is what I'm saying. If you're able to go home and then enjoy the things at home.
Yeah.
You don't always get that, so...
As for me, I have a couple of small little things. What made me happy is that Afro Man won his case.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Afro Man won his defamation case against some
police.
of his local police that may or may not be crooked and or pound cake
They're
eating
all
enjoying
crooked.
cops.
They're all crooked.
And also Tom Scott's back on YouTube, which I don't know. Alan would be appreciative of that if he was here.
I think he's just arrived.
Elaborate. Who is Tom Scott?
Tom Scott is like an English YouTuber who did mostly educational kind of videos. He would visit a place and explain how it worked. And it's just like a nice kind of...
I think you've talked about this guy on the show before, maybe.
Yeah, Alan's coming back, ready to go.
Are you?
Alan, Tom Scott's back.
11 pound cake.
Yeah. How you doing, Alan?
I'm doing great, thank you.
You know about the Tom Scotts?
Yes.
Yes, he's back on the YouTube, so that's one thing that made me happy this week.
You know what? That's actually pretty solid.
Yeah. He's got a new series coming out. 2 years ago, he left YouTube to do something else. And
he literally flew away into the sunset.
Yeah.
As his final video.
This is a man me and Alan love on YouTube. And
is this a Mormon gentleman?
No.
No. I don't think
Oh, because there's another guy who did that, but he got called to serve in the church and he left, and everyone's like, "Oh no."
No, different guy. I guarantee you, a different guy.
But his general interest videos are just amazing, and like he literally, like he said, as a goof, he was like, "I'm gonna fly away into the sunset." So he had like a paramotor, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And just hooked that up and started it off. And
one of those guys that he invested like all the dollars he had into like the show, and like he would do weird and interesting kind of like just challenge videos and educational content. And I really enjoyed them. So he's back. He's back.
One of the we're kind of going off track, but one of the most interesting videos he did was a village in Switzerland that had banned cars.
Okay.
You just weren't allowed to have a vehicle.
Yeah.
If you wanted to live there, if you had a business there, you could apply to have like an electric little thing that would, like a trolley vehicle that would help you move supplies around.
Yeah.
But apart from that, nobody had cars. And one of the coolest things about that was like the sounds of nature that you get is amazing. And as a thought experiment, nature? I just tried to like outside my house. I'm like, how long till I hear a car sound? And you couldn't go.
Constant, right?
Yeah, it's constant. Like even the freeway, which is probably well over a kilometer away, just the wind noise of the freeway.
But it's also what your brain gets used to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's what you're hearing. If you all of a sudden didn't have those car noises, the other sounds would sound louder.
Yeah, would be far more amplified.
Yeah.
But it's cool thought kind of videos that he gets.
Everyone should check Tom Scott out on YouTube. It's all wholesome family fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anyway, what else has made you happy, Alan, this week? Filling up your truck before it hits $5 a litre.
I mean, it's made me happy in the future. Right now, it hasn't made me happy.
It's making you sad now.
Paying $205 for a tank. But it could be worse, is the way I like to think it, and it will get worse most likely before it gets better. So
anyway, what's made you happy?
I'm struggling now. Could have sworn I had something, but you know what? I might think about it.
Future Mix is coming up this Friday. That makes you happy.
Oh,
having access to a brand new VPN service.
Yes, actually. And getting my GameCube fully Pico modded so I can play as many games as I like.
Oh, cool.
And,
legally obtained.
Legally obtained, yes, definitely.
I think we...
we're having technical issues.
Remember when we reviewed the Mario movie, and it's a me.
Legally
Nintendo's lawyers.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Speaking of Nintendo's lawyers, I'm like... There was a bit there without a VPN. There was about 100 games. I don't know. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Anyway, we'll move along. So have all the boys had a chance now to review and watch Louis Theroux and the Manosphere?
Yes.
Oh, you watched it, Alan?
Okay,
cool.
So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. To quote Jason, paraphrase of Jason Mewes' verbiage.
Just in case listeners don't remember, Nathan watched this before us and talked about it on the show last week. And so go back and probably listen to our discussion there. because Nathan was saying how the sort of Louis Theroux's
his manner
approach to interviewing and his documentary style maybe wasn't the right fit for a topic like the Manosphere.
Yeah, I just think he lets these guys advertise too much.
Yeah, and while I agree with a lot, pretty much all the things you said, I do think there was more there that obviously at the time we couldn't discuss. That I think definitely there's a lot there that does what's the word? Dive deeper or scrutinize perhaps this Manosphere world more, closely. But also, it's not a really in-depth exploration or whatever, which, I mean, you need like a mini-series and, wouldn't be a Louis Theroux documentary.
It should have been a two-parter. I think that it deserved the problem is it's very heavy, one-sided in that it's Louis Theroux, who's not an expert in the subject matter. He's also not a psychologist. He's just a documentarian and an interviewer. He spends all of his time talking to these people who are pushing one specific worldview that they've cultivated into an art. So it's not just like one guy who's like this guy. Do you remember he used to do those weird weekends or whatever? It's not just like finding one strange guy who has one view. It's like a whole community, and they've cultivated this thought. So he's going and talking to people who have already been scrutinized. They've already done this before, at least some of them at least. So they kind of know what to expect. They know what all the questions are going to be because they've already had to deal with this. And he doesn't have anyone he can talk to provide a counterbalance. So he should have interspersed this with a child psychologist or someone who's done social work.
To some of the kids who have
the
been,
victims,
but you don't get any of that. So what you do get is essentially a advertisement, if you will, because these guys they're not afraid for people like me who they would think of as a complete and total loser. They don't care what I think. Like, none of our opinions in this studio matter to these people. But what matters is the 12-year-old who sees a new documentary on Netflix and might see whoever's name in the description or in the IMDb page or whatever. He'll say he wants them to watch because he might be able to get them in the Telegram channel.
Yeah. There will be vulnerable young men feeling trapped in the current system.
Only because you don't have that counterbalance.
So after watching it, my opinion is the problem was that Louis, when he's generally gone into these similar documentaries, he is talking to people that have drunk the Kool-Aid / are brainwashed, and therefore he's able to kind of bring the clear kind of lapses in their logic out far more thoroughly. All these guys bar Sneeko is just I'm going to say special needs. Is it the politically correct term? The rest of them, these were just scammers. That's what they were.
They're con men,
Yeah, they're con men. They're not people that are ideologically kind of... yes, they maybe have drunken some of their Kool-Aid. But these guys, at their core, are purely just scammers.
Yeah.
Like I said, all of their belief systems are complete bullcrap.
Yeah, the belief system is just give me money and I'll show you the way.
Stop gooning. In the meantime, I'm going to advertise.
Scheme. Yeah.
Like that's why they did so well against Louis in a way. Is he was going there to kind of challenge them about ideology. They don't give a rat's ass about their ideology.
Yeah.
Their key feature is trying to get you into the system, so you then put in money so they can make money on your trades while you lose money. That's their whole system. It's never about... The ideology is the front. This is purely a money-making scheme, and therefore, because they're money-making scammers, they're well-versed in how to shut conversations down. It's still exposed and kind of harassed a few of them, which I thought was lovely. We'll talk about that later in the program.
Louis even started to go into that angle. He actually bought some trades or whatever in one of these guys' thing. He just kind of let that breadcrumb disappear. Yeah. So we don't even know if
he just says he lost money, which is obvious.
That's the route that he should have gone down. Was like, yes, you get in with this Manosphere in quotation marks thing, but then the more interesting route is the con artist angle. Because then you could have actually turned it into something interesting. It's like,
I think they use that man kind of be real man kind of angle to get vulnerable people into the system and then to exploit them.
Yeah. But I do think there is that's not to say there isn't an element of like just straight misogyny and
100%.
like it's definitely ingrained into. Just because they're doing it, just because I really don't believe in anything and just want to make money, doesn't mean that these aren't like horrible guys who...
No, they're definitely horrible guys, but challenging them on things they don't even believe in, like he normally would in his other documentaries, won't work in this context. Because when, again, person's like, oh yeah, I hate OnlyFans. It's like your girlfriend's is OnlyFans, bro. It's like, yeah, what about it? Like, you can't fight them on that because they don't believe in either of it.
Well, I mean, is fighting the... That's not really
challenge
the
them on
challenge, yeah.
I think because when normally, as we discussed, normally he's talking to kind of, we'll call them average people who maybe have extreme views, right?
Yeah, I think when you talked about this last week, you said average. I said, no, that's not the right word. But I think what you mean is like these Manosphere guys, they spend their whole lives live streaming in front of the camera talking.
Yeah, I mean, they're
usually
not...
if
the normal people that he talks to are generally not well versed in...
Yeah, like even if he's talking to a politician or a someone who's sort of well known, then their whole thing isn't I live in front of a camera and talk for a living. Also, one thing I think is really important about this documentary and like this whole phenomenon is that like Louis has been doing documentaries for at least 25 years, maybe longer.
Probably a bit longer.
30, yeah,
probably closer to 30.
And only in the last maybe 10, 15 years has the internet been this thing that has exploded and made stuff like the Manosphere possible. Usually in older Louis Theroux documentaries, when he's interviewing the KKK or neo-Nazis or whatever, it's like these small groups of weirdos. But now it's like they can, the information can get, that all these people can come together across the world. They can spread, like these Manosphere dickheads have access 24/7 365 access to kids and young men and people in general around the world, and that's crazy. That's never happened before.
And it's like you're watching the documentary and like they'll just go down a street and then it'll be like 12-year-old zoomers with their broccoli cuts being like, oh my god, I love you.
That's the problem where like in normally these situations Louis will, you know, I guess confront the person. It'll be kind of that one-on-one. Maybe they've got their support group, but they're the people they know. When you get like a random person that's coming up and supporting you, it almost revitalizes your point of view. Yeah. Oh, look at all these guys. You know, Louis, what are you talking about? I'm not a bad guy. Look, this is my fans.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think Louis ever like stopped bad people from being bad and doing bad things. No. He's just like exploring it and, you know, airing it out to people who are interested. And most people who watch Louis Theroux documentaries, I think, are, you know, interested and sort of engaged like with some of the world's problems, so that they're not just, you know, he's not going to fix anything, and most of the people who are watching it aren't going to be the ones who kind of need to be watching it, if that makes sense. So a lot of people have been complaining, like the Manosphere documentary. It's like
this one's slightly different because it's much bigger profile. It's on Netflix.
The Netflix thing does change it as well.
Also, I think what again shot Louis in the foot a bit, or he shot himself in the foot, was the first guy. What was his name? MH or HM or whatever?
HS Tiki Toki.
That's whatever he is.
What a dick!
Like the guy who crashed his car and then ran away to Spain. Is what he actually.
Mummy, what do you say, Mummy? I don't want juice.
I don't want a juice box.
It's the fact that he did multiple interviews spread over time allowed preparation on his side. Research.
Yeah.
When as soon as Louis asked the first few questions after that first interview, what he bounced, right? He then knew that something was up with Louis. Yeah. He was going to start doing background research. Then he brings in the Jimmy Savile and everything else, right, afterwards. Because he's gone and done his own background research. And he also
had, like, people in the chat who were telling him things. Like,
also, this is a key example of why I think Louis was not prepared and he's too weak for this project. It was because his last project before this was about the settlers. Like, it was about the Israeli conflict. And then they're talking to him like, oh, do you think there's a genocide going on in the Middle East? Louis had the perfect opportunity to be like, I just made a documentary about it. Yeah. Go and watch it.
That was like...
I'm like, he's just standing there like,
the part
I'm like,
where,
buddy, defend yourself, buddy. What are you doing?
Where that got cut, I'm like, okay, so if it's his documentary, he would have had the cut shoes on that. Obviously, he didn't cut it, but like, he didn't respond to it.
Yeah.
He chose to let that ride. I'm like, in what world do you not say yes, Louis? Like, if you're the documentarian that you are, you've gone and made, like Callum said, the whole documentary on this.
In fact.
in what world do you used to not say yes, Israel is committing a
Yeah,
genocide?
but you don't even have to. You don't even have to explicitly spell it out like that. You could just say
they are.
You could, even if you wanted to like toe both sides because you're making a documentary for Netflix, you could say, it's complicated, but I've made 2 documentaries about it, which are actually very enlightening. And he just stands there looking like a muppet.
But they got him on the objective truth of that. Like, if you don't say yes,
I mean, I do agree with that. Like, but.
For the listeners at home, yes, we agree. That Israel's committing a Gaza genocide.
I mean, it's not. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. Though.
It's just a legal statement. Anyway,
but like
we're getting shut down.
Welcome to the last episode of Tuesday Review. Nintendo gonna come from one side, Israel's gonna come from another. Albo's gonna come for our VPN. We're getting it from all angles, boys. Oh crap! What was I saying? I was about to say something. Yeah, I think one thing though to play devil's avocado and like on Louis' side is like arguing with any of these dickheads is like a useless. It's a moot point. Like
I think that's also the heart of it. Is that's Louis' style, and it should have been a documentary about this subject handled in a different way.
Yeah.
Like we should have heard from some victims.
I think those 2 guys in Miami, the one who lost his brother and the other friend.
Yeah, those are really interesting.
If the documentary focused far more on those guys and it just interspersed clips of the guys they were following,
actually,
that could have worked out a lot better.
That would be interesting. Is like following guys who idealize the guys that Louis was actually interviewing, and just like following these guys. Like, how do they get to this point? And it's like, that guy was homeless. He lost his brother to suicide. He's very vulnerable, in a vulnerable position, and then someone comes along who says, "You can be tough. You can be rich." Or, women are the problem, this, that, and the other. And you're like, hell yeah, brother.
People love to be told it's not their fault.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. Because everyone's life can be hard.
Yeah, and not just, it's not your fault, but it's like you deserve to be like the ruler. You deserve to be the king and the boss and to be strong and to everyone to listen to you and to smoke cigars and drive sports cars and have all the women do everything for you. And it's like, who wouldn't want to hear that, especially if you're in a vulnerable position?
It's a very young boy's idea being an adult.
It's very childish. I said to my...
But a lot of these people, like,
well, this is... And it touches
young
on...
Or are, mentally... everyone's having a hard time right now.
One of the things they touch on briefly in the documentary is that pretty much all of these guys are from broken homes or they have issues with their parents and they have other trauma. And so they don't have a balanced view on what it means to be a man.
That's true. Yeah, they're like their father's left or whatever. So it's like, well, I'm gonna be the opposite. I'm gonna be Mr. Man.
Yeah.
So
and in some ways they're closer to their father than they would ever think. No, anyway.
Well, no, it's
100%.
It's super interesting because like we were talking before about how I'm gonna be careful with how I phrase it. I think these guys like to sexualize women. I don't think they like women at all. They seem to be much more focused on appealing to men and influencing young boys.
Yeah.
And the material.
Let's put it this way. Their favorite scene in Top Gun is the volleyball scene.
Yeah. One of the gentlemen in the documentary has a shirt that doesn't fit at all, and it's like about to burst off the seams. I'm like, he looks like he belongs in a
Lamborghini guy. I dubbed him as the Gigachode. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, that man is a Gigachode.
While we're on the lawyer's radar, I guarantee you all of them oil themselves up and just stare in the mirror every morning.
100%. But like, if you look at the way they treat women, it's like they treat them like pieces of meat. They don't treat them like human beings. Like they don't like women. Like they can say what they want for the camera.
That's the whole point of the Manosphere.
But like it's just about impressing the boys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a child's. They have a child's mentality of what it means to be an adult and a man.
Yeah, and it's also like idealizing, like Andrew Tate or even like Trump. It's like this fake alpha male that like it's like this. It's such a weird. They try to be tough by being grifted to by these awful criminals, pedophiles, and it's like such a weird.
And to an extent, they also co-opt religion as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't
Because
really
a
go
lot of
into that
those
in the
guys
documentary.
wear crosses
Yeah.
and they're conservative and
Sneeko
They lean-
and
yeah.
hates to convert to Islam.
revert. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sneeko
they go
converted.
into it with Sneeko where it's like it starts with maybe Manosphere and then it goes like full weird conspiracy
Yeah.
like
And that's the whole other rabbit hole of these guys essentially promote
Yeah.
these really weird rabbit hole conspiracies, and it gets a
Yeah.
bit QAnon like.
and like the whole MAGA. I mean, I don't know if Louis done a MAGA thing specifically, but I think this Manosphere is all part of that movement. It started as QAnon, then it became MAGA.
Alt-right, yeah.
The whole alt-right
Yeah.
movement.
And that's another thing they kind of co-opt a religion to be like, because these religions are manly and they're conservative, and it's the way to
Yeah.
Jesus. Stop gooning and
A
buy
man-
my
yeah.
product.
A man can have multiple wives, but a woman can't
They
have
pick and
multiple
choose.
husbands.
Yeah, exactly.
But
In the meantime, look at my advertisement of OnlyFans models.
Yeah.
On my program.
They're like pimps who are
yeah, but
in
it's
denial.
don't you think it all felt so lonely?
Oh, 100%.
I was watching a documentary
it's,
and I'm like,
it's all really just sad.
like some of these guys have kids and wives, whatever, and then the way they talk about them, I'm like, all these guys for some reason they're so lonely.
yeah, I feel so bad for their kids. I feel so bad for kids just growing up in this internet environment.
What was that one guy like Myron Gaines, and he had that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
has that podcast talk show. Not
Yeah,
better than Tuesday.
Fresh and
Review.
Fit.
It's much worse than Tuesday Review.
Fresh and fit. or
Fresh
whatever.
and fit.
Yeah, he got hustled hard. I loved it. His girlfriend left him. I'm like, yeah, he got
obviously.
but it's just
Because Louis just like, you don't treat you right.
that was peak when, like, again, trying to get their partners in there next to them and showcasing the hypocrisy.
But even just
That's why the Gigachode, I don't remember his name. I'm just going
Yeah,
Gigachode.
The steel
was
guy.
initially was so hesitant to show his family. He's like, it'll just be me in this one apartment I have here in
Also,
Miami where my family lives elsewhere.
There were points where Louis wasn't even asking tough questions.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, so you believe you should have multiple wives and your wife should just have you.
And he's like, hell yeah, brother.
yeah, no, and the guy, the
Myron-
Gigachode guy, no, the other
other
guy
kid.
was like,
Justin Waller.
yeah, he's like,
his name is.
I don't really want to, I can see you're triggered, like he knew it was a stupid
Yeah.
thing, but he was trying to dance around it. And then when his wife got involved and she was like trying to be supportive,
She's
and
like,
it
I
was
don't
just
want to
like,
know, but you know.
it's clear that this is not a good situation for anyone.
New podcast idea for the boys: fresh and fat.
Oh,
for the boys-
stale and fat.
Actually, that's a really good idea.
Anyway,
I'm gonna have to start eating, putting my weight back on.
anyway.
We'll just put you in a fat suit. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Actually, if I
We'll just,
wear a,
we'll
if
just
I
rip,
wear a tighter top,
we'll
I've
rip
got-
the whole concept
my
and just
belly's
be
come
like
back.
ironic.
yeah.
Like, all right, Ross, you're gonna start writing a script
We'll
for us,
use it.
please. Yeah.
We'll use it.
Like, I looked at a woman and she didn't look back at me. I hate women. Oh.
That's what, like, how many of these guys have ever been friends with women?
Yeah,
But like even that whole scene was ugly. Like that whole podcast was
Where
ugly.
they-
they-
the
just kinda
demeaning
they
women,
just
yeah.
they just
tear
yell-
these women down
and they
the whole
just
time.
make up. It's like the Charlie Kirk thing. They just make up facts. They yell and they talk fast. And the whole thing with these right wing
'Cause
nut jobs is they're
it's
not
like-
right. They're just louder. They're
Yeah,
And
the
even-
Ben Shapiro method.
Hitting the
Yeah,
ladies with
exactly.
like, name 3 countries. And it's like, all right, in any other context, like, or name 3 chemical compounds of organic nature. But what are you gonna do?
And also,
Like,
to be fair to these girls, they're deliberately picked because
Yeah.
they want to up their star,
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
and
on the apps or the
like
Instagram.
who knows
on
how
the
much of any of those
OnlyFans.
who knows how much any of those answers are true,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they're just made to look like
They're made
fools.
to-
Yeah.
They'll get money at the end of
At
it.
the
I
end of
don't
it.
know.
Like,
And that's-
the lady that was in the back room that was answering some of Louis' questions.
Yeah, they got real
Oh.
upset. Real
Oh
quick.
yeah. As soon as Louis asked anything to a woman around Myron, he's like, I have to stop this immediately.
He's like, go clean the house.
Yeah, because it's like I'm the only one who can talk and steer the narrative, and if
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
else starts talking, they will shatter the narrative, which
Yeah.
I think is very telling. So there are, I mean, like we've just talked about, like there are a lot of important moments in this documentary, and I think it's a worthwhile documentary.
I just
But-
think it's too subtle, James.
Yeah, it
in
doesn't
some places.
perhaps go deep enough, and
Needs
it
the
is
Ross Kemp treatment.
it is quite maybe overproduced. Like I guess because it's on Netflix, like there's all these slow mo,
Yeah.
like really good looking shots of like Lamborghinis and like Rolex watches, and I'm like, this is kind of glamorizing it, and it's
Yeah.
not really necessary.
Also, did they use an AI filter on one of the home portraits of some of that steelworker?
You sent a screenshot of that,
Yeah, and
and
it looks awful.
I don't know if
Alan, could you look at my phone for a second?
I don't know if he's done that to his
Yeah,
portrait at home, or
I don't know.
Or Netflix has done
But
that.
I saw that and I was like, hold on a minute.
Wait, that's supposed to be him?
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be his father and his kids.
Anyway, the
him
photo
and
comes
his
looking at
It might be
family.
old-fashioned airbrush because it's like one of those old J.C.
Old-timey.
Penney, what do you call it, Macy's, like when they did
But it looks
do
awful.
the you know how they used to do the the
Yeah.
department store photos? It might be one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
I think one of the big problems, I mean, it's the biggest problem in the world, but I think watching this documentary is like, it's a huge part of it that's not talked about, is like capitalism is the problem. Like, the whole reason...
Was it money, the cause, and the solution to all of life's problems?
The whole reason these young men are feeling, left out and disenfranchised and vulnerable and are able to be sold to by these grifters and right-wing nut jobs is because they can't see a future. No, there's nothing for them. The world's on fire. That we're constantly at war. Prices, everything's too expensive. You can't even go out and hang with your friends anymore. The internet makes people more connected, but like less
more
connected.
alienated.
More alienated. Yeah. Like it just, everything is just, I don't blame people when they fall for these.
And this is what Louis should have pointed out. Like every time they brought up, he should have done research into like their talking points. So every time they said something, he could have a counter statement. But don't you think it's also like this? Can't it be like this as well?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then suddenly you have to put them in the mode of responding to an articulated point rather than just parroting things they've already said to their viewers a million times.
And as James said before, they've also got people in the comments telling them exactly what they should say to Louis.
But like I said just before, like arguing with them, even with all the most articulated points and like scientific facts, like really doesn't matter.
No, they're charismatic con men. This is what they do.
Yeah. I reckon again, like Westboro Baptist Church style, if you had like defectors almost as well, like people that are currently in the source, that are suffering, like asking them questions, challenging them, seeing them trip up, and maybe realize that they're buying into bullshit, along with some people that have seen the truth of what they're actually in and kind of moved it away from it. Interviewing those people and combining that in the documentary would have been...
Going more in depth just with the whole thing and interviewing more, people from different parents of kids who have gone down the deep end, like...
Should have been a mini-series.
It definitely could have gone more in depth. But I think I think it's still good. It's just, maybe it doesn't...
I was thinking about an extra half a stuff he just did as rap. It's like my money don't jiggle, it falls.
My money jiggle.
When he's meeting with guys, he's like, I'm Louis Theroux, documentarian and rapper.
Theroux, not a pedo.
Louis Theroux.
Yes. Not a pedo. I like that. I did like that part. The guy's getting defensive.
He's not a pedo. This is Louis Theroux.
And I like how Louis was like genuinely like, thank you for doing that because I could have got killed.
Considering then he went to bash up another guy like later on.
It's so violent as well. Yeah. The whole thing is just like, I guess I think we talked about this another time. Like, because things are so shit because of capitalism, like people are just so angry, especially young men. And this is a perfect outlet for that anger is like other dudes saying like, you have to be strong and you have to smash things. And, women are like servants, objects. And it's like, it's like if you have all that built up anger and rage and you don't know where you belong or whatever, it's like this is an outlet for them that we should be steering more constructively.
Yeah, young men just need to go to the movies.
So out of again the what was it 4 people that the 4 main characters we'll call it.
Yeah, so roughly.
One of them technically you could say had a successful marriage. Even that remains.
Well, they weren't even married, which was part of the problem.
A successful relationship we'll call it.
Yeah.
With this,
they were married, just not in the eyes of the state.
Not in the eyes of the state. Yeah. But like the other 3, I'm like, one's just constantly cycling through OnlyFans ladies. The other one ruined things with his lady in front of Louis when he's like, I'll have multiple wives, and she's like, what? And then Sneeko again. God bless Sneeko. That's all I'm saying. Because out of them where he was like, there's like devils controlling the government, man. And I was like, oh god, like.
My culture is not his prom dress.
It's
what I mean?
Like we always say, we like the fun
conspiracy theories fun again.
If you're gonna talk about conspiracy theories, at least get them correct.
At least get some aliens or lizard people involved.
That's it.
100%. He just didn't want to come out and say the J word.
Right? Others did.
I think they ended up.
He did. But everybody knows it's the reptilians.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
just
I think it's also like because it's on Netflix and it has a wider reach, and it's like maybe kids have access to it and they might get the wrong message from it. But I think it could be good maybe for parents. To watch it, even if they're not familiar with Louis Theroux. Like I was saying before, people who watch Louis Theroux, not to say they're smart or anything, but it's like most people who watch Louis Theroux documentaries are like interested in what's going on and, delving into these kind of different topics, different diasporas, different communities, whatever. But even if you're just scrolling on Netflix and you're like, oh, what's this? Like maybe for a parent or grandparent, it's like a more digestible way to sort of figure out, what this thing is, because a lot of kids know all these influences and parents just have no idea. And so I guess it could be, like I said, like it's not an in-depth thing. Like it's not educational. I guess it is a little bit,
yeah,
but
at least
you know
if your kids are trying to join a telegram, you slap them on the back of the head, like
Yeah, you're either doing something you shouldn't, or you're trying to buy drugs or something.
Yeah, especially now, like a lot of parents are just like, here's a phone, here's an iPad,
here's a passcode, download whatever you want.
Go nuts.
Join the Tuesday Review Telegram. Give us all your money.
You know what? It'll be fat and stale, or stale and fat.
This
and
is my
Alum
stock tips.
Yeah, Alum stock tips, where it's like
pocket
Tuesday Review coin.
Tuesday,
It's called the Cousins coin. Trademark pending. Don't grab it, please.
Oh my god.
We're minting coins right now. No.
It could be the first 100.
Minting in this economy.
Don't worry, I got solar panels.
Going all in on solar panels. That's our official advice. Solar panels and electric cars right now.
That'll be the one positive thing about stale and fat. It will give decent financial advice. So it's like, do you buy this or do you just pay more money into your loan? Pay more money into your loan. Save yourself some interest.
That's it. We might go to a very quick break and we'll be back right after these quick messages. You are back live on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review. Going into something a bit different, a bit more positive.
Way more positive.
Yeah, way more.
Way more. We're going to focus on Ryan Gosling, who is he's a real man.
Yeah, way more healthier.
Positive.
That's I was going to say. Way more healthier representations of maleness.
Ken is a great
positive.
Married
to the most beautiful
model.
women in the world.
You are.
He is.
You are Kenough.
You are Kenough.
We are Kenough.
Yeah.
Well.
Stay positive,
yeah. So Project Hail Mary, the new adaptation of the Andy Weir novel.
Mm-hmm. Andy Weir, the author of The Martian, which was made into a movie with Matt Damon, the Ridley Scott movie that came out in 2015, which I really loved that movie. I thought it was great.
Okay.
It was
and
good,
famous short story, The Egg.
Yes. So this was a movie that came about relatively quickly. Because the book was only released in 2021.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of the most bankable I don't even know if you'd call him a screenwriter. He's one of the most bankable authors to adapt since Stephen King, apparently.
Well, yeah, I guess
it's the right kind of story for film, I guess.
Yeah,
in a way.
I mean, in a weird way, it's not, because his movies are very hard sci-fi. It's a lot.
They're very Arthur C. Clarke.
Yeah, it's a lot about like the actual math and stuff. Like they're very accurate and it's hard sci-fi. It's not just Star Warsy fantasy kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, The Martian was well made, and this Project Hail Mary is really well made.
I think one of the most interesting thing about this movie is how well made it is on a technical production level.
Yeah.
Considering it's coming from Amazon.
And they're claiming that there was no green or blue screens used.
I mean,
no, so
in the like the sets, obviously it's like,
So like there were, so I mean, we should say Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did, the Lego Movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 and 22 Jump Street, and they're like producers and a big force behind the Spider-Verse movies. So these guys are really a great creative force in Hollywood and are doing really interesting things and have made projects out of properties like Lego where you're like, that could never work, and then they blow it out of the water. They just knock it out of the park. Awesome. So them doing this movie, I guess this is their first like big live action sort of. It's not. I'd say it's still comedic.
Yeah,
it's not a
serious comedy.
Movie. Yeah, it's a sci-fi space exploration movie, and I think they showed that they really have a handle on not just the filmmaking, not just the storytelling, which they had shown they're really good at, but like also just the practical filmmaking of things. The movie looks really good, sounds good, and yeah, they built the sets. The movie takes place mostly on a spaceship, and it's about the sun is going out, and so they send Ryan Gosling's character into space to like figure out what's going on. And then I guess this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, I don't know if they probably should have left this at least more ambiguous.
Yeah.
But anyway, he meets an alien and they work together to figure out why the sun's dying, because this alien's sun is also dying, and it's like a virus that's going across the whole galaxy.
That's true.
And they have to work together to figure out how to communicate with each other and then figure out how to
solve the problem.
Yeah. And yeah, most of the movie takes place on this spaceship, and it's really well designed. It's a practical set. There's no green screen on the set. The alien is was mostly a puppet, so it has this really cool, practical,
tangible feeling.
Classic sci-fi feeling. But then, of course, they did use CG for like the space scenes.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're not exactly going to go into space.
Jeff Bezos is rich, but he's not that rich.
Yeah, and when the alien does like move quickly and stuff, like it's CG, like it wasn't a puppet all the time. But I think considering how much we complain and how many movies that come out now that are $300-400 million movies that are just all CGI garbage and clearly look like just the actors walking in front of the green screen.
The Marvel problem.
Yeah. This is a great example of like modern day filmmaking that actually looked good and looked mostly sort of practical and felt high budget, and not it wasn't just Ryan Gosling like walking on a treadmill in front of a poorly green screen background.
Considering the movie is mostly just Ryan Gosling on a ship with a puppet and by himself, and other kinds of locations, mostly by himself. It's like, it's surprising how expensive and how epic and expansive this movie is with like just one dude in a ship.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like they're trying to conserve budget or anything. It still feels like a big, and it still feels like a space exploration movie. So I think it definitely it was we all really liked it. I think it felt like maybe closer to an 80s or 90s sci-fi
like a family movie.
Yeah, and I think it was also a good movie for like anyone, like pretty much any age, without it feeling too kiddie or it doesn't get too dark, but it also is not. Yeah, like it's funny.
Yeah,
but it's also
a return to an actual family movie where everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah.
I follow a lot of people on Twitter, like a lot,
which is a problem.
You have. In my opinion, it's also it can be a strength because I get access to
all the toxic.
Yeah,
no, like all the I get to see how
he gets the good and the bad.
So like with Project Hail Mary, I've got to see how people from all walks of life feel about it, and it's almost apart from. I'll start with a positive. All people from all the political spectrums really like it. So like conservatives are saying finally a movie that doesn't what's the word?
Proselytize.
Yeah, it doesn't. To me, it's not trying to force.
I'm not agreeing what conservatives think. Cause
no, but like I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
Right.
So they're saying I can take my family to see a movie that's just fun. It's not like it's intelligent and it's fun. They're not trying to ram a view down your throat or whatnot. Which most movies don't do that anyway.
Yeah.
But then you've got people like us who are like, oh yeah, this is actually a good film. It's not just slop that they put out on the thing. Like, give me a $25 and it's it's like some Marvel movie where they're just on like a flat plane and they're like, we have to stop Kang. And I was like, okay, yeah, but I don't care about this.
Yeah.
But then like the
Kang got cancelled. Sorry.
Oh yes, he did. He was defeated.
Off screen.
Read the yellow text.
Yeah.
But what's so interesting is like even like the really, really tough critics just really like it because it's the relationship between Rocky, the alien,
yeah,
and Grace. And it's a very 80s style relationship where you get that great learning to communicate sequence, which is something we don't see too much. Like Arrival did it really well, but this is more of a fun buddy style thing where they're both trying to understand each other. And then just like the way that their relationship works harkens to like that earlier 80s style family movie.
It's got a bit of E.T.
A bit of Flight of the Navigator.
Like Enemy Mine.
So like there's like that great kids find it funny, adults find it heartwarming. You've got the adventure element that keeps people like, it's a 2.5 hour movie. I was engaged the whole way through apart from the time I had to go to the toilet.
You was engaged.
You did go at the right time.
I did. I waited. I was holding it. But what's interesting is you do have an element of the audience who really didn't like it because it didn't have like the irony that some people want. Because like some people like certain fantasy sci-fi movies because it has that kind of I'm a sarcastic hero element. And they're like, I like that. This is more sincere because it is a return to that older style.
It wears its heart on its sleeve.
Which I think we need.
It's ultimately a more positive movie. Especially
hopecore, as they've been calling it.
Yeah, people are calling it millennial coded.
Which we really need right now. But also, like, I love depressing movies. My favorite movie is depressing. But, like, I also love happy and positive movies. Both can be good. Both can be bad. But, like... I feel like specifically a lot of sci-fi movies, especially recently, one are bad on a technical level because they look like crap, too much CG and stuff.
Too dark.
Or they're too dark. But two, they're also like very, cynical about, and post-apocalyptic media is very popular. And it's because the way the world's treading, it's like that's the most realistic kind of.
Hey, it could be worse.
It's like that's where we're going, even the sort of fun fantasy over the top sci-fi movies. There's always like an evil, like Star Wars has the Empire. There's always like a villain or an oppressive force or there's an apocalyptic event. And this one is, obviously there is an apocalyptic event happening and there is a potential, there's a sad element to, the further it goes. But overall, it's about overcoming this problem, 1, through the power of science, and 2, through the power of friendship.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say.
So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like a really good story, a really enjoyable story.
It also helps that Rocky's iconic.
Yeah, he is really well designed. He's like a 5-legged rock spider. But he doesn't have a face, and the way he moves is like he doesn't have like a head in one direction, so he can just change directions, and he's always facing the way he needs to be facing. And what's interesting about Andy Weir's writing is because he is so scientifically accurate and he tries really hard to get the science right, even though Rocky, of course, is a fictional alien being, he created a planet called Erid, which is based on a real planet that's been observed in the Tau Ceti system, I think. And then he was like, okay, what's this planet like? Well, it's got this kind of atmosphere and it's got this kind of this. And he's like, okay, what life would develop from that? And he's like, well, the life would be like this and it would see through this and it would eat like this. And so he created Rocky that way. And I feel like watching the movie, I haven't read the book yet, but watching the movie, I was like, Rocky felt really well thought out and designed.
Wasn't just a random alien.
Yeah. And I think, maybe if this wasn't based on a book and it was an original movie or whatever, like the alien probably just would have been like a funny little guy or a little CG guy,
like
or whatever.
A Star Wars little guy.
Yeah, but I liked that this one was like, even though you don't get all the background you get from the book and all the background you get from Andy Weir's like research and development of the character, like I still felt that on screen. Like looking at Rocky and like the way he moved and the way he had little markings and the way he communicated and the way he moved, it felt like he was a real thing. And I was like, you could cut out Ryan Gosling's character and just have a completely silent movie about this alien, and I would be so engaged because you sort of can get like how he does things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he communicates like this. He moves like this.
Also, the magic of puppets.
Yeah, and just on that level, it just looked really good. And the guy who does the voice for Rocky
Really good.
was really good too.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, and they as part of Grace, Ryan Gosling's character, like trying to communicate with Rocky, he like eventually synthesizes like a Stephen Hawking voice box kind of thing. And yeah, the voice actor for that, who was one of the puppeteers for the actual puppet, was really great. Yeah, and you really get that sense of friendship and camaraderie, and a lot of fun banter because Rocky doesn't understand a lot of human language and concepts.
Fist my bum, James.
Yeah, fist my bum.
It's just refresh because we don't want to spoil the film, but it's just refreshing to see a movie where everyone's like, doesn't matter who you are, you have to go and watch it, and like people are going 2-3 times, and it's doing numbers at the box office globally.
Yeah, rare Amazon win. Let's just hope they don't take the wrong message from this.
No, I don't think they are, because everyone who sees it is like, this is what we've been asking for 20 years. And then Ryan Gosling came out and was like, it's not up to you to be setting cinema. It's up to us to be making films that make you want to go back.
It work. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but
so I think they understand.
What I mean is we're going to get Hail Mary 2, or it's going to be called Full of Grace.
Right?
And then it's going to be like, we're sending Ryan Gosling back with an army of CG Rockies, or like there's now more, and there's like, Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is because the world that Andy Weir has created, it was like so rich and in depth. Like he could definitely do a sequel. I would be interested. He's thinking about it. I've heard that he's thinking about doing it. So if he did write another book and they made another movie off of that, I think that could work out. But yeah, if Amazon was like, we're making Project Hail Mary the series with Rocky and his family are on the planet and there are CG spiders. Actually, that would be kind of awesome.
No, don't give him ideas.
Honey, I'm home, and he's like crawling through this cave.
But you know what I mean? Obviously let's hope the right lessons are learned, and those lessons are also, let's put money in a movie and let's make it practical.
Yeah, and also like I know it's based on a best-selling book, but it's technically an original movie and not it's a
not
sequel
franchise IP.
Yeah, and so it's when movies like this come out, we're like, hell yeah, this is what we want. Like this is what old sci-fi movies and blockbuster movies used to be.
Yeah. Get you excited. Yeah. I left the movie. When we left, I was pumped up. I was like, that was really good. I'm really happy we saw it. And it's one of those movies where I left it. I'm like, when that comes out on 4K, I'm buying it.
Yeah, I really want to see the behind the scenes. I have to have a lot of.
I thought about spending the $50 and getting a Rocky thing off Amazon.
Yeah, I want a little Rocky figure.
Yeah, and they're selling 3D printed little figures.
The movie's so popular.
Yeah.
You can buy official Rocky merchandise and you can buy knockoff Rocky merchandise.
Yeah.
They're pumping this stuff out in warehouses in China.
The official one, does it have articulated limbs? Because I only want one. I only want one you can.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
But there's already guides on which Lego sets to buy to give you the closest approximation.
That's awesome.
I'm just thinking when you're like, it appeals to like all sides. I'm like, there's like the Manosphere side where like you don't need a woman, you just need a rock.
That's it.
And your rock,
it's also a man
is my app.
But even Rocky has a girlfriend.
Yeah, but you just need a rock, and this is my app is the rock you need. So yeah, sign up today on Telegram.
Yeah, actually, 100%. Some of these guys are going there saying, "See, a man solving everything in space by himself. He doesn't need no woman."
Speaking of though, like. A big problem we're facing in the world right now that has led to things like the Manosphere and all the awful conditions that we're currently facing is this whole wave of anti-intellectualism. People like Trump who are like, I love the uneducated. Like being dumb is like dumb is somehow like seen as a good thing, and it's like you don't want to if you go to uni you turn into a trans green haired weirdo and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
well, the most educated woman in the film, played by Sandra Hüller, was a bad guy in a way, or not?
No, I don't know if she's a bad guy.
She's a morally complicated character in some aspects.
Once again, the Manosphere would agree. The women are the problem.
But anyway, what I was getting at is that there's this whole wave of anti-intellectualism, which is coincided by the rise of the far right. And I like this movie that it's about like using science, believing in science, and it having a positive effect on humanity and it saving humanity, and also helping us sort of close divides between like different species and across across the galaxy.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's a story that's very much in the vein of Arthur C. Clarke, where there's a threat, but there's not a great villain that needs to be fought with guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, it's a story about overcoming a problem with your scientific instruments.
Yeah.
But also, it's also about your in finding the courage in yourself. Bravery is a big part of the film.
Yeah.
And it's about what does it mean to be brave, to do what's right, even when you don't want to. And it's like positive messaging where it's like Ryland Grace, he didn't want to be where he was, but he has to make do. He's in this situation. What's the first step? And then when Rocky gets involved, it's like, well, now I'm not on my own. Let's work together. And then there's the character drama elements that they weave through it.
They even say in the movie, it's like having someone to fight for. Like it's like having.
It makes me hopeful for every now and again they threaten us with the Rendezvous with Rama adaptation.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they do it in this way, it could actually be really good. But it has to be practical and it has to have that hope core energy running through it.
Like, obviously, this has more quote-unquote comedy in it because Ryan Gosling's character is like a bit bumbling. He's a smart scientist guy, but he's also a bit bumbling and then he has to try to communicate and the alien doesn't really understand and there's a lot of jokes. But just still having a positive light tone.
Yeah, and the fact that you don't have a villain like allows like all kinds of audiences to appreciate it, because even the people who might be like, if you're like super religious and you don't like violence on screen or whatever, it's like you can still take your kids to see this film.
Also, like, I had a few issues with this movie, which maybe I'll get to, but like, this is a kind of movie where you go to the movies and you're like, yes, this is what movies are supposed to be. This is what they used to be like in the 80s and 90s, whatever. And I can see this being a movie that a kid watches that now that like for something like that was like for something like us in the 80s or 90s, where it's like watching a movie and being like, oh, wow, that's amazing.
The Superman effects.
I want to be, it's like I want to be either a filmmaker or a scientist or, just sort of, affecting them in a way. And even though I didn't think Project Hail Mary was like the best, most classic, instant classic of film, I was like, it does still have that feeling of like, oh yeah, this is going to be a big deal for a lot of people.
There's like on my Twitter feed, like there's like parents taking their kids and their kids like, can we please go see it like again soon? And then the poor parents are like, well, now I have to find another $1 million to take my kids to see it again. And then Ryan Gosling's like, that's okay, come back on it. Because also his performance, pretty solid performance from Ryan Gosling.
Great. Yeah.
It was, he did
especially because he's basically the only one on screen for most of the runtime. I mean, there's the puppet and there's other characters.
It would have lit the spark in some kid's imagination somewhere.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, and it's regardless of how that's going to manifest.
It's a really well-made, great sort of sci-fi movie that we don't always get much anymore.
Very rarely.
And that, we like to see on the big screen because we're severely lacking it. And I had a couple of issues, like maybe would have liked a little bit more Earth scenes, a little bit more science here and there. I really want to read the book now. I've got the audiobook, but I never listened to it. So apparently the audiobook's amazing. So I want to check that out because apparently it goes more in depth, like The Martian. It goes more in depth into the science and the numbers.
Friend of the show, Alex, is a big fan of the audiobook and he loves it. Yeah. So
has he seen the film?
No. But he says the audiobook is phenomenal.
Yeah. Like even watching the movie and I was like, I hadn't read the book and I was like, I can tell maybe there's a bit missing here and there. There's maybe things that were glossed over, even without having read it. Like you can just sort of sometimes feel it. But I think still the movie is constructed well enough and you get what you need to get. Yeah. And it's still very entertaining and fun. I think it's
and it was colourful, or pretty
colourful.
Yeah,
it wasn't too dull like most movies are.
Yeah.
So yeah,
if only we had seen it in IMAX 70mm.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
We don't have a 70mm IMAX, do we? Even our big boy in the city is not 70mm. It's
yeah, no, it is.
Oh, it is 70mm.
The museum one is 70mm.
I didn't know that. Yeah, because there was a big list of them, and and Melbourne wasn't listed, and I was like, oh, damn.
Melbourne we might not have Project Hail Mary in 7mm, but they have the ability to play.
Yeah. No, so Hail Mary might come to Melbourne at some point in 70mm, but not right now.
But even on digital, like I think it's we just saw it in extreme screen Hoyts with the D-box seats,
and it was good,
which was good. And you know, if you can see it on the big screen, at any big screen, see it. But I think seeing it in IMAX, I think would have been really great, especially with the aspect ratio changes.
Yeah, we lost a little bit.
Yeah,
that's fine. And also, you boys enjoyed the D-box more than in the Boner Temple.
Yes.
I
didn't get bashed by the seat this time.
There was, I think, one scene after the movie finished. I said to Alan, like, when they're collecting, it's like the fishing scene, quote unquote, where they're collecting specimens. I was like, that scene in D-box was incredible because you had a lot of action and sort of space.
It worked a bit better
stuff.
in D-box. Yeah.
The rest of the movie, it's like you don't really need it. There's some cool bits where the like spaceship's moving and your chair's kind of moving with it.
But it was a better experience than 28 years later.
Much better.
Probably, yeah.
I think so.
I think overall D-box would be best for just a straight like racing action movie.
Or Mission Impossible stuff.
Top Gun situation.
Yeah, Top Gun, F1. Yeah, that would be the best situation. But yeah, it was still engaging. It's good. It's a good movie.
Amazing.
All right, we're almost running out of time. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Keep an eye on the Instagram for the Stale on Fat podcast coming soon.
I kind of want to do something. Let's talk.
Just a parody video.
Yeah, we'll just do a parody of one off, maybe. You can catch us on some of the social media garbage at Tuesday Review AU on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Newsmask, Blue Sky, YouTube, TikTok, but we haven't got to posting on TikTok yet, but we're on there. And YouTube, obviously. Subscribe
at Tuesday
Review AU. We're also on Letterboxd. I'm Nathan B_90.
I'm channeldrifter.
I'm Alum20.
And I'm callumtuesday.
And if you have any ideas for what we should do in our 300th episode, let us know. We are rapidly approaching
1 month.
And we haven't reached out to Tom Cruise's agent yet, but we will.
We'll do a fat and stale. Or
we just
stale fat.
We'll come in with like bald wigs and cigars and like. That's all about time we got for tonight. We'll be back next week. Adios, cousins.